Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, and in this episode we will be talking autumnal patterns. It is fall, there is a chill in the air. The sun is setting at a ripe 7:45 p.m. We are in it, guys, we are in it. It is here, and it really is my favorite time of year. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this little pattern roundup. So it features sweaters, cardigans, and some accessories. And stay tuned to see how many quilt motifs I can include in this list. I hope that this can give you some inspiration on maybe some projects you would like to cast on. Let me know if you've made any of these, as I would love to know. Let's just go ahead and get started. First, I'll talk about what I'm wearing today. This is the Lana Vest by Irene Lynn, and I knit this in Barocco Vintage in the color Marmalade. Nothing gives more autumn than this color, and I thought it would be super appropriate to wear today. It's one of my most recent finished objects, and if you want to hear me talk about the details, check out my last podcast. I will have this linked right up in the corner here for you. Okay, so let's jump into the patterns. The theme we have going on today is color work and texture. I think those encapsulate the autumnal vibe more than anything, so that's the main focus of these patterns today. I have my iPad here referencing all of the patterns I put together in a Ravelry bundle, which I will also have linked below if you'd like to check out any of the patterns I talk about today. Okay, let's talk about our first sweater. The first pattern we have here is Mountain Bed by Caitlin Hunter. This is her newest release. I think that just came out like maybe yesterday or a couple days ago. It is a beautiful colorwork sweater. The Mountain Bed sweater comes with a recommended positive ease of 8 to 10 inches. It's a little bit different because it just features the one stripe of colorwork across the chest and then the 3 stripes of colorwork on the sleeves, which I really like. As usual for Caitlin Hunter, this comes in 10 sizes. She's always really good about size inclusivity. This is a fingering weight pattern, a labor of love for sure, but it is so worth it because it is gorgeous. I think the color she picked for this is really beautiful too, but given that it's on a 20 stitch gauge, that's definitely going to take some time. Since this is a newer pattern, there's only 3 projects on Ravelry right now. I can imagine that with time, this pattern is going to have a lot more projects because it is beautiful. And I'm almost debating on adding this to my queue, to be honest with you. I've never knit a garment in a fingering weight, so I'm not quite sure how I feel about that, but I like the idea that the finished garment will be nice and light. I think that's a great way to get the list started with a gorgeous sweater like that. So next up, we have the Framed Sweater by Andrea Mowry. Now this is a worsted weight pattern knit with a 21 stitch by 24 row gauge. It comes in 9 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 4 to 10 inches, so it's definitely a nice range based on your preference. This sweater is knit in 3 colors. Her sample is knit with a color changing yarn, which I think is so beautiful because it makes your color work look so much more intricate than it really is. Mind you, this is intricate color work. The construction of this one is knit bottom up, and then you split for the sleeves and knit flat when you get to the top, and then work the sleeves and the round from there. In true Andrea Mowry fashion, it has a 3 needle bind off with some ribbing on the shoulders, which I think is such a beautiful detail. I am currently working on my second weekender, which has the same detail on the shoulders, and I think it is just so nice. I like the bracelet sleeve length sleeves as well. I think that's really cute. It also means less color work, but this is one of 3 quilt motif patterns I have in this roundup, so stay tuned for the other ones. This is a pattern I've had in my favorites for a very long time. This was the Rhinebeck sweater for last year, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I need it. But at that time, I was really not into color work just yet, and I found it very intimidating. Although now I don't find it as intimidating, but I do know how long color work takes, so I haven't quite gotten to that yet, but it is very much on my list, and it is such a gorgeous pattern. Next up, we have the Windermere sweater by Cheryl Makhtari, who is Coco Amore Knitwear, and this is a worsted weight pattern. She held a DK and a lace weight together to get a gauge of 15 stitches by 32 rows. The row gauge seems high, but that's because this is knit in reverse half fisherman's rib, which is such a gorgeous stitch. It looks so squishy and wonderful, but I know I'm knitting the Jaunty Shawl by Andrea Mowry right now, and that is knit in half fisherman's rib. It takes 2 passes of knitting to finish 1 row, so it is 100% a labor of love, but I love the texture of that, and I think the shoulder detail is just so nice too. This comes in 11 sizes and is designed to have about 32 to 36 centimeters of positive ease. The ribbing is knit in twisted rib, which I think kind of differentiates the ribbing of the half fisherman's rib, which I think is a nice detail. This also doesn't have a large amount of projects on Ravelry. It has 106, which I find kind of surprising, but I feel like nothing captures autumn more than a overly textured sweater, like a half fisherman's rib stitch. But yeah, gorgeous pattern. Absolutely love that. Now this sweater I love. This is the Inge sweater by Leanit. What a striking colorwork design, first of all. The colors she chose for this are absolutely beautiful. This is a DK weight pattern with a gauge of 21 stitches and 24 rows, and it comes in 7 sizes, and it has a recommended positive ease of about 5 to 7 inches. This construction is knit top down and in the round with raglan increases. This colorwork is just so beautiful. I think you could have so much fun with the color combinations with this one. You can lean more autumnal using like a mustard yellow and like a rusty red with a cream. I knit my Lumi pullover with those colors, so I just have that in my brain. I also really like the neck on this one too. Let's lean a little more simple with the Rhodes sweater by Ozetta. This is a worsted weight pattern with a gauge of 18 stitches and 26 rows. It comes in 9 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 9.75 to 10.5 inches. This is a really nice drop shoulder sweater that features 2x2 ribbing, and I love the shoulder detail on the back. I think that's nice because it breaks up all of the stockinette. And of course, I personally love a good 2x2 ribbing, so I actually have been considering knitting this one because I have enough yarn in knitting for all of heavy merino to make this. I think it would be really nice, but we'll see. And yeah, I think this would just be like a really nice, simple, basic sweater with a little extra detail, I think, with the 2x2 ribbing. This next sweater is super fun. This is the Nocturnal Jumper by Sasky & Co. This is knit in worsted weight with a gauge of 18 stitches by 24 rows. It comes in 10 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 4 to 7 inches. I love this one. It's definitely giving spooky vibes. So if you want to lean more into the Halloween-y side of autumnal, this is definitely the way to go. I love Sasky & Co.'s patterns. I think they are super, super well written, and I love the way that she designs her round yoke sweaters, and this is no different. I also love, I think it's called corrugated rib with the 2 different colors in the ribbing. I love that detail. And of course with the cats, how cute. Who doesn't love a cat on a sweater? Let's be real. But this is also when you could have a lot of fun leaning into different kind of color palettes. You could go more Halloween-y with like purples, or just like her sample, kind of lean into the more autumnal vibe and go for like a burnt orange or a rusty red. I really like looking at the projects on Ravelry on this one because people have a lot of fun with their colors. They get super inspiring, and I think this would be a great option for a Halloween sweater. Next up, we have the Field Sweater by Camilla Vad. How cute is this one? It is a DK weight pattern with a 20 stitch by 28 row gauge, and it comes in 9 sizes, and it doesn't come with a recommended positive ease, so that is open to personal preference. But how beautiful is that little grainy motif? I think that's such a fun stitch pattern. It's not like anything I've seen before, and this one is fun because you can definitely lean into the whole weedy kind of color, or you can have some fun with it with this sample that has actually 2 different colors on the yoke, which is gorgeous. That light pink is so pretty. And yeah, if you want to take the whole autumn thing literally, this is a great sweater to do that with. Okay, next up we have the Thelma pullover by Sari Nordland. Now this is great because this is a free pattern, and you can find this on Hobby's website. This is a DK weight pattern with a 20 stitch by 30 row gauge, and it comes in 9 sizes, which is awesome because it's a free pattern. Now Sari knows what she's doing when it comes to color work and round yokes. I know because of my Lumi sweater, and this is such a beautiful motif. I love all the details and the potential of like really playing with color on this one. Her sample is knit with 3 colors. You could probably expand that if you want to get a little crazy, but I think even with just the 3 colors, it looks so intricate and detailed. And in true Sari fashion, it has the beautiful color work motif on the sleeves as well, which is a feature I really like, partially because it gives you motivation to finish the sleeve, because then you get to the fun color work part at the very end. I liked that about my Lumi pullover. But yeah, I am surprised to see that this only has 24 projects on Ravelry despite it being a free pattern. Even if you don't feel like knitting it, I would at least look into the pattern and just look at the charts and admire it, because my goodness, What a beautiful pattern. And last but not least, we have the Haw Creek Pullover by Andrea Gaughan, who is a local to me designer, which I think is really cool. Her patterns are all really, really beautiful, so I highly recommend checking her out if you haven't. This pattern has been on my list for a while. I love the texture on this one. So this is knit in a sport weight with a gauge of 21 stitches and 31 rows. It comes in 10 sizes, which Andrea is very, very good for having a large size range in her patterns. And the pattern has a recommended 8 inches of positive ease. Another thing that's really cool about Andrea's patterns is on the description, she has listed all the techniques that are used in this pattern. It's really cool to see what you're getting yourself into up front before even buying the pattern. But yeah, I think this is just such a beautiful pattern. I love the texture. I love the little like vertical stripy sections of texture. The V-neck is really nice. I love the cropped length, and the color that she knit this in is perfect to me. I feel like this would be such a great layering piece. Like, it looks cute on its own because of the V-neck, but imagine how cute this would be with a turtleneck underneath. Anyways, I am surprised to see that this only has 49 projects on Ravelry. I think that should be way higher, but this is definitely in my to knit list, even though I'm a little bit intimidated of knitting with a sport weight yarn, but given the finished object, I think that would be so worth it. Okay, so that wraps up all the sweaters that I have. Now let's get into cardigans. First up, we have the Cara cardigan by Linnet. This must be a brand new pattern that just came out because it says it was published in October 2025. There are no projects on Ravelry. So this is gorgeous, okay? The texture on this is unreal, and I love the round neck on this one. So this is knit with a DK weight with a gauge of 21 stitches and 30 rows. It comes in 8 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 5.5 to about 8 inches. This pattern is knit top down with raglan increases, and then you pick up for the neckline and the button band. I mean, the texture on this pattern is just unreal. I love the honeycomb, I love the braided cable, and the detail in the raglan seam is beautiful. I love the weedy color that she chose for this sample as well. And I love that the back also mirrors the front. So you have that large section of the honeycomb followed by the braided cables on either side, and the nice little diamond cables too. I didn't even notice that at first. It has it on the front too. I didn't even see that. This cardigan just looks like it is full of beautiful details, which doesn't surprise me because Linnet is so good with that. But yeah, I highly recommend checking this one out if you haven't seen it yet. Okay, next up we have the Olga jacket by Petite Knit. This is knit with DK weight and has a gauge of 20 stitches and 30 rows. It comes in 10 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of about 9 inches. This is a top-down construction where you knit the back trapezoid, you pick up for the shoulders, and then connect it and then knit it flat, and then pick up for sleeves and knit those in the round. I currently have an Olga jacket cast on right now, and I have also knit 4 Olga sweaters, so needless to say, I am a huge Olga fan, and I'm so excited that there is a cardigan version, or jacket, cardigan, you tell me the difference. Yeah, I just really love the details on this one. I love the fit of the Olga patterns, and I also just really love that round neck. I've never knit a cardigan with a round neck before, so this one will be my first. But yeah, I just love a good stripy sweater. I thought this would be a good option, and even though it's been out for a while, I still think it's very relevant. Great sweater pattern. I can imagine that the jacket is just as good. Getting through it so far, I only have one shoulder picked up, so far I'm not having any issues with it, but yeah, I do see myself getting a lot of wear out of this one because I am a striped girly. Okay, so next up we have the Mara cardigan by Brianna Mason. This is knit on a DK weight gauge of 21 stitches and 30 rows, and it looks like she held 2 fingering weights together to get that. It comes in 10 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 8 inches. Now this cardigan is kind of giving me Haw Creek pullover vibes, but just in cardigan form, and it's knit in a broken rib, which is so beautiful with that raglan detail. Of course, I love the color because I am a rusty kind of gal, but I would love to knit this. I just love the detail of the broken rib and the double knit button band. Gorgeous. Love it. Perfect layering piece, which would also look really cute with a turtleneck. Let's be real. I can imagine all of these patterns with a turtleneck because autumn, hello, but I digress. Next up, we have the Siri cardigan by Lynette. This is gorgeous. The texture is beautiful. This is knit with a DK weight with a gauge of 15 stitches and 26 rows. It comes in 10 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 7 to 10 inches. Now, I like this project because it seems like a simpler cable kind of project because the back is only moss stitch. Now, I feel like that's something you're either going to love or you're going to hate, but it does make the cabling seem less intimidating. Although I will say moss stitch takes forever, so take that with a grain of salt. I think it looks really nice with the two cables on either side, and then it has a cable that runs along the whole sleeve as well. But it kind of gives me like jacket vibes. Maybe because it just seems so like squishy because of the moss stitch, but I really love it in the neutral color that she knit this in, and I also really love the blue. I feel like with textured projects, you kind of gravitate towards knitting them in lighter colors so it can show off the texture, but in this blue sample, you can still see all the texture. I just really like seeing a textured project in a darker color because it still does show it off, and it makes it striking in its own way. But yeah, absolutely beautiful pattern. How many times am I gonna say that? Last textured cardigan we have on the docket is the Book Club cardigan by Sari Nordland. I'm sure you've seen this before, but I had to feature it because it is so perfect. It is so perfect. I want to knit this so bad, but honestly, I'm a little intimidated by it. But let's get into the details. This is knit in worsted weight with a gauge of 18 stitches and 26 rows, and she held a sport and a lace weight together to get that gauge. It comes in 9 sizes and has an intended positive ease of 8 inches. This pattern speaks for itself. Let's just be real about that. I love the diamond cables on this, although a lot of people have something to say about the diamonds not meeting up correctly when you pick up for shoulders, but honestly, I don't really care about that. I still think it looks really nice, and I would probably knit this to pattern if I decided to knit it. I love the pocket features, and I love that it matches the cable. Even though you have a layer, the pocket layer sitting on top, it still matches the diamond cable that runs down, and it also has a double knit button band, which is a beautiful detail. Sari can design a textured sweater. I mean, she knows what she's doing. Colorwork and texture, she's on it. I think this is just a beautiful pattern, and I highly recommend looking into it if you haven't seen this one yet. Next up, we have the Nordic Bloom Vest by Caitlin Hunter. This also comes in a cardigan version as well, but I want to talk about the vest version because I love it. But this is knit with bulky weight, and it has a 16 stitch by 20 row gauge. It comes in 8 sizes and has a recommended positive ease of 6 to 10 inches. This is one of those patterns that has just lived in my head rent-free for so long. I love the flower motif on this one, but I will say I'm a little intimidated by knitting colorwork flat. But I actually think this pattern is steeked. It doesn't say that explicitly in the description, but looking through the projects on Ravelry, there's a lot of people that have their steek stitches marked. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it's designed, but if it is, that is really awesome. Although very intimidating, I will say, because I have never steeked before. But that makes it a little less intimidating. Or does it? I don't know. Open to interpretation. But either way, the pattern is so beautiful. I love that it comes with a vest and cardigan option, so up to you which one you want to make. I just think that that motif is just so beautiful, and it is definitely one you can have a lot of fun with in terms of color palette. And I'm gonna say it again, imagine how cute this would look with a turtleneck, okay? Sue me. Okay, last but not least, we have the Heirloom Quilt Cardigan by Katrin Seeberger. A gorgeous pattern. This is knit in DK and has a gauge of 20 stitches and 34 rows. It looks like in her sample, she held 2 fingering weights together to get that gauge. But what's interesting is this doesn't have like a set number of sizes. It looks like it's kind of open to preference. I think there's a schematic in this that will kind of break down how many squares you would need to make to get the size that you intend. But I will say, one thing I like about this is that it's a great like stash busting project if you have a lot of yarn in the same weight and or a nice color palette, but there is a lot of seaming, which I personally don't love. I feel like I would probably knit this in vertical panels and then seam those vertical panels if I made this, but the sleeves are knit in the round, so that's kind of a reprieve. I like this because it literally looks like you are wearing a quilt, and you can have a lot of fun playing with the colors on this one. This is also one of those patterns that I really like looking at the projects for, because so many people have so many different color palettes for their projects, and It's just really cool to see. If you are willing to take on a seamed square project, I highly recommend this one. Okay, so that wraps up all of the garments that I have. So let's get into accessories. The last quilt motif pattern I have for you is the Frame Your Face cowl by Andrea Mowry. This is knit in worsted weight with a gauge of 24 stitches and 26 rows. This is knit in 2 colors, and what I really like about this one is, just like the framed sweater, one of her samples is knit with a color changing yarn, which I just really like how that looks. And if you're too intimidated by knitting a full sweater in this motif, I think this cowl is a great option. It's just knit in the round, and you just make a giant strip and then you seam that together, and then you have a cowl. Super cute. Oh, just kidding. This is the last quilt motif pattern I have for you today. Next up, we have the Under the Quilt Socks by Stone Knits. This is knit in fingering weight with a gauge of 34 stitches and 36 rows. It comes in 3 sizes and it's knit in 2 different colors. So again, this could be one that's really fun if you use a color changing yarn, or if you just use 2 plain contrasting colors, that can be a lot more striking. But how cute are these socks? I feel like these would be so cute in a pair of Birkenstocks, and it is so giving fall. Can you imagine if you're wearing your framed sweater, your framed cowl, and your quilt socks? What a combination. The ultimate level of cozy. But these are so cute. I know Stone Knits is so well known for her colorwork socks, and these are no different. But yeah, these would be a great option to add to your sock collection. One more feature from Stone Knits. Next up, we have the Forever Autumn sock set by Stone Knits. These motifs are so cute. These also come in 3 different sizes, and it is knit in fingering weight with a gauge of 36 stitches and 38 rows. That seems so tiny. It looks like the leaf pattern is knit with 2 different colors, and the acorn pattern is knit with 3 different colors. These socks just scream autumn. They are so appropriate, and they are so cute. I personally am trying to get into knitting socks because I just dream of having a bunch of hand-knitted socks in my wardrobe, and I would love to have the leaf motif. That is just so cute. But yes, another great option to add to your wardrobe. And last but not least, we have the Nightshift by Andrea Mowry. I'm not sorry that there are so many Andrea Mowry patterns in here because I am obsessed with her right now. But anyways, this is knit on, it says an Aran weight gauge, but she's knit this in Spin Cycle Dream State with a gauge of 20 stitches and 28 rows. According to the page on Ravelry of this yarn, it is a worsted weight, although on the pattern page it says Aran weight. So, but since this is a cowl, you can kind of mess with the gauge unless you really want to be specific on sizing. This is mosaic knitting, which is something I've never done before, and that just gives such a beautiful texture, especially with like pretty high contrasting colors. Her sample is knit with 6 different colors, and it seems like there are different panels that kind of alternate those colors. So even though 6 colors sounds intimidating, it looks like it's broken up into different sections. But I love the shape of this one. It's just like a giant blanket for your whole upper body. I love the colors she chose. I love the texture of this one. I love how it lays. It's really fulfilling the 2012 in me with, you know, the giant scarves that we were all wearing. I absolutely love this pattern, and it lives rent-free in my mind. This has a whopping 11,000 projects on Ravelry, which is unbelievable, but for good reason, because this pattern is gorgeous and all of the projects on this page is so beautiful. It is so inspiring to see other people's versions of any pattern, and this is no exception. I also would really love to knit in a spin cycle yarn, but it's kind of expensive. But I just love the barber pole color changing aspect of their yarns. It is just so beautiful, and yeah, this would definitely be a lot of fun to test out a bunch of different colors. So yeah, that wraps up this little roundup of autumnal patterns. Like I said in the beginning, I have a Ravelry bundle saved in my favorites that I will have listed below if you are interested in checking out any of these patterns. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions for patterns that should be added to this list. Let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to add them. And if you plan to make or have made any of these projects, please let me know. I would love to see your versions. But yeah, that wraps up everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found some inspiration from some of the patterns we talked about today. I hope you have a wonderful autumn season, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!